All right. So, welcome back to another update video on our Can You Survive 25 challenge in Farming Simulator 25. Now, I had wanted to do more update videos, but we have hit two major milestones, so I did want to make sure I did an update at this point. I did not want to go any further. So the two major milestones we're at is we are very, very close to the 200 hour mark. I think we're at 198 point something hours. So very close to that one. Also, we are in July and it has been 4 years since we started our playthrough. Well, almost. So this month is the final month for us to make payments to the bank on our loan. So if we go to the finances here, we did make our final loan interest payment of $833 in June. We still have the $250K left from the 1 million original debt. So I am going to pay all of that back right now. So we are free and clear of our debts and the bank. And that is really nice to hit. The $833 was not a huge hurdle at this stage, so the financial hit wasn't that bad, but it is nice to now have that milestone completed, and I'm sure Grandpa Walter is ecstatic as well, but he is hiding from the rain, which apparently it is going to rain for most of this month, which is also a harvest month for us because we have wheat on the fields. So not great, and Walter's not having any of it, and we're hiding under the awning. But yeah, I also wanted to do a quick tour of where we're at with the progress so far. So I guess we can start with the fields in the area that we now own. So I did just buy this field, Farmland 9. My goal is to buy 7 as well and then make this into a bigger field, even though we don't really need it at this stage for this production. I had planned on possibly buying 10 as well, just so that we own from basically the railroad to the river on this section of land. I don't know what's out this way, but this is, I'm guessing, the end of the town border or the town area. So yeah, my plan was to own all of this area. I just don't know if I need Farmland 10. It's kind of tiny and it's a bit out of the way, but I'll probably end up buying it anyway. I will just put more grass on it. But my goal for now, the next kind of major goal is to buy Farmland number 7. I don't have enough money just yet. And there's also, yes, I believe carrots on it, which I don't want anything to do with at this stage. I don't have any equipment for it, so I'm just going to wait for them to harvest this. And then I'll buy it. I think we have until, well, I plan to put barley on the next year, so I have until September for them to harvest it, which they have 2 months to do. I suppose if they don't do it by September, I may just plow it. But yeah, we've got a couple of months to make a little bit of money and then buy that. That's the next big step for our land anyway. And then we've kind of owned all of this stuff. We've got it all back. And some extra stuff for our farming empire now. I think we're beyond what Grandpa was farming before, and we're kind of at the first stage of our farming empire. I don't know what I'm going to do for Farmland 2 just yet, or Farm number 2 just yet. I'm thinking up here, but I haven't fully made that decision yet. It might be this as well. I'm looking for something big, like the biggest fields I can find, maybe down here. I'm not totally sure just yet. I want to finish this first and then we'll seriously look at that. But I also did buy this plot of land up here, Farmland 18, which I guess is not really a farmland because there's no field on it. I suppose you could put one, but it's pretty hilly and there's lots of trees, which is why I chose it. I didn't want to ruin a field to put my production sites on. So I do have 2 dairies running here, one for buffalo and one for the regular cows, which we'll get to when I get to the cows. But I did want to split those just because it seems like these are really, really slow. And I also have kind of an end goal in mind where I do need regular dairy. So I decided to split that as well because of that. Also, I moved our sawmill over here from it used to be from where it used to be right here where the shed is now, just so I had more room for some sort of storage over there. Also, there is a deadwood contract that's on lot 17 that's really good just because it's more open than any of the other sites that you find, especially if it's like in here. It's really hard to find all the deadwood trees. This makes it really easy. There's not a ton there, but I don't need a ton to run this sawmill. The whole point of me having the sawmill is just so I can finish this thing off, which, yeah, it's chugging away. Looks like I'm gonna need more wood beams. But yeah, I do want to get this completed. They say it's a playground, but to me, it's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. I don't know what their plan is here, but yeah, I don't foresee like a kid climbing all the way up there and then tumbling to his death over the cliff. So I'm waiting to see what goes on here. I'm hoping there's more that gets filled in that makes more sense. But right now, it's yeah, I'm a little sketched out by this quote unquote playground at the moment. But they are taking a lot of wood, and I do want to see it finished. So I also do want to finish the grain elevator as well. I haven't really started on that just yet. I put a couple things in here, but I do want to build that. And we'll do that as soon as this one is done. But that's taking forever, and that takes a ton of the beams, which are slow to produce. So yeah, it's taken 4 years to get where it is now. But yeah, we want to finish that off. So that's kind of why I still have the sawmill here. I think at the moment it is only producing, yeah, the beams. I have tons of the other stuff. The planks and the planks long, there's tons of storage here already, and I have some more in storage as well, so we don't really need that, and it eats up the wood really quickly. So I've just kind of left them at wood beams because that's what this thing mostly takes at this stage. So that's kind of what I've kept. But yeah, let's kind of get back to the tour. I got a little bit off course there. But yeah, that's our production site over there, which is dairy and wood. I'll probably... Well, I might even add another dairy over there just because of how slow they produce. I do have to say I'm not impressed with the dairy production in the game. I really hope that they improve that because it is tremendously slow. And we are making lots of milk and buffalo milk, way more than those two dairies can deal with. And I'm not even close to like full maturity on my cows, and I'm not even full capacity yet. They produce a lot of poop as well. The slurry and the manure is probably the most difficult to deal with at this stage. I pretty much moved to that as fertilizer entirely for our fields just to use it up, because transporting it has become a pain in the butt. But anyway, yeah, we'll get to that. For the tour, this is pretty much my TMR or silage component area section of the farm. This is our TMR storage. We're already like making a ton. I still have 811,000 liters left through the winter. This is our, well, basically like a tedder. So it is a production facility, and it turns grass into hay. And the reason why I did this wasn't, well, it's not the best financial decision in the world, because I think this cost about 80K to buy, and it is a production, so it costs money every month to do this conversion. But it saves a step with the grass, and the amount that we mow that grass and that I've done already, any stage where it saves us a step is worth it to me, as long as it's not too crazy, which this kind of is, because it's a lot cheaper to just buy a tedder, but then that adds another step every 2 months or 3 months, however you want to do it. And yeah, that's worth it to me over the long run. This is just our hay loft, so it's, well, I guess it's a straw loft for us. It's just storing straw. which we've got loads. That's our mixer over there. I don't want to spend too long. I'm sure most of you guys know what this stuff is. But this is our main trailer. It is a mod. There's also the manure spreader version as well, which I also have because this thing keeps coming up on the used market all the time. So yeah, I figured why not? It is big and heavy and clunky, but yeah, it does the job. Back there is our forage harvester for our grass. We use that an absolute ton. It's a little beaten up. It is the TARDIS unrealistic capacity. Again, anything that saves a bit of time on our grass production is worth it to me. It's not crazy out of the realm of cheaty, I guess you could say. Some people won't like it, and if you don't want to use it, feel free not to. But for me, for in real life time, it just saves a little bit of time. So I've gone with that. This is our roller. For our grass, I don't really use this anymore. I could probably actually sell this and buy a proper roller because it's not really the best at rolling, quote unquote. It just adds a fertilizer state to the grass. So you can skip the fertilizer step, but we have so much fertilizer that I just have to get rid of that I'm not really going to use that. We're still rocking the old John Deere cultivator. I don't do a lot of cultivating, but that's probably going to get replaced once we scale up to our next farm for sure. This is the weeder I bought, and I do a ton of weeding contracts, so I figured I would just buy it. We got a weight over there for basically this guy. When it's on the back, you just need something on the front. It was our big purchase. I was using the MacDon mower for a long time, but the AI, for some reason, did not like using the MacDon on this field. This field, no problem. This field, it had major problems. It would leave like strips here, like for quarter of the field, where it wouldn't mow it for whatever reason, no matter how many headlands I told them to put in, whether I told them to do headlands first or second, didn't matter. They always messed this field up. So I would either have to go through and fix what they did or just mow it myself. And as I mentioned before, the amount of times I mowed that grass, it was really getting on my nerves. So I tried a couple mowers to see if that would happen, and it really only happened with the MacDon. When I used this thing, it had no problem. The AI would mow this easily, no problem. Also, this has a wider working width, so it produces less strips that I need to pick up in the forage harvester. So although this was a massive purchase, it's very expensive, it was, to me, very much worth it as well. I love this thing. It's great. Yeah, but very, very expensive. This guy here, not my best purchase in the world. I probably could just lease for the amount of time that you have to lime a field. This is basically all this is. It's a lime spreader. I had planned on using regular fertilizer, but again, with all the manure and the slurry that we produce, this isn't needed as a fertilizer. So yeah, big expense to be used like every 3 years. So yeah, not the best purchase. You could just lease that, to be honest. This guy also not the best purchase in the world. I didn't know mulching did so little to your yield, but this did come up in the used section, and I thought, oh well, I've been renting a mulcher, I might as well buy this guy. It was a fairly costly purchase, but it does a great job of mulching, but it does need a bigger tractor, which is why we mostly, well, not the only reason why we got this thing. And we traded in the John Deere that we had as well as the Challenger. I bought this guy, which is, I have to say, this is like the best tractor ever. This thing is awesome, and I use it probably 90 to 95% of the time just because it is dirt cheap to run. It's kind of slow, but it takes a while for it to require maintenance, and when you do need maintenance on it, it costs like 3 grand, 4 grand to repair it. So yeah, dirt cheap to run. It runs great. It'll run pretty much everything except for the big guys. And yeah, love this thing. This thing over here, on the other hand, is great to drive. Love driving it, but it is expensive as hell. Now, I don't know if that's just because it has more horsepower, it's more money to purchase, but it seems like it requires maintenance twice as fast and it costs 5 times the amount to repair. So it probably costs 20K to repair this thing when it's like right down, and the 30% damage that's on it now is probably from maybe 2 or 3 jobs in a field for like cultivating or whatever I've done with this. It does not take long at all to get damaged. So I don't know if that's this thing bugged, pardon me, or if that's just the case for more expensive tractors as you go up. It just means they wear out quicker and they cost more to repair, which kind of makes sense. This is our power washer. Yeah, nothing much to say there. This is for our silage over there. Again, for our front loader kind of thing, just to push it back in because I never load that properly over there. There's always stuff hanging out at the end, so I just have to push it back in. We got our MacDon. Almost forgot about the old MacDon here. We don't use it for mowing anymore. It did great for other than what I mentioned before. But yeah, we now have that big guy over there. So this is now pretty, well, yeah, it is purely for swathing at this point. Unfortunately, when I bought it, I thought it would do like normal tractor stuff, but it doesn't. It only does mowing and swathing. So now it's only a swather. Very expensive swather. I also want to replace this barn really soon. These beams here drive me nuts. It would be nice if this was just open. It'd be a lot more easier to park these vehicles in here. I do love the aesthetic of this barn, but practicality, it's not the greatest, so I am probably going to replace it with something bigger and unfortunately more modern. I don't really like that it's more modern, but Grandpa probably doesn't either. But for functionality and to just put more stuff away, I think I'm probably going to replace this, although that'll probably be like one of the last things we do. We are still rocking, unfortunately, the Great Plains Cedar still. I was hoping to replace that before this month. Well, I guess I have until September to replace it, which I might have money to do, I might not. We might have to do one more run with this Great Plains, tiny Great Plains Cedar, but it kind of works for what we have. When we do the bigger field over here, I think we definitely need something bigger. But yeah, I want to replace that really soon. These are basically our silage compaction tools. That's just a spreader that works really well. And then I've got a couple of compactors back there. This is for our silage pickup, just to move it out of the bunker so we can mix it into TMR. Got the old MacDon header here, so not much to say there. Normally the manure spreader would go in there, but it's over by the manure pit over there at the moment. Green trailer. This guy has been a workhorse for us with the green trailer and the green tractor. They get a lot of work. They pretty much move most of our stuff these days. We probably need to scale up to something bigger soon, but for now that's kind of what we do to move all of our pallets. This is our constructible barn, and I feel like I made a pretty big mistake on this guy. I do have a sawmill, so why I chose to do a brick construction was not a good idea. I don't know why I did that. I could have chosen a wood building to construct, and it would be way cheaper. But yeah, to buy the cement blocks and the cement mix was super expensive. That thing is probably 300K, 400K at this point. That's not including all the wood that I've put into it. So yeah, I wouldn't build this back again, but I don't want to demolish it at this stage. I want to see it done. I think I need planks apparently, but we should be just about done. This should be like one of the last steps, I think. I hope. But yeah, this thing costs, I think, like 60K. That thing costs like 400K. Pretty nuts. That's just our silos. That's basically our grain cart over there. It's for our chickens. It's just a lesser capacity, easier to move around over there. I just kind of leave it there. This is our obviously our water tank and our water tower. I did move that from over on the other side of the property so that I would have room for our TMR production over there. Unfortunately, when I put this down, even though it wasn't on the fence, I did use the place anywhere option, and it got rid of the fences that were around here, as well as the arch thing here, and the sign that was here I didn't notice until well after many saves had happened, and I thought, wasn't there something here before? And yeah, it demolished that, but the game apparently still thinks it's there because it won't let me put these fences in. I was trying to put them in before I did the recording to kind of put something back because this just looks kind of open, but it won't let me. It just says it's restricted, so I think it still thinks there's a fence there. So I think that's bugged, unfortunately. I hope that gets fixed because I would like to put some sort of fence back around here just for aesthetics before we finish off this farm. I also want to put some trees and stuff back in because I cut down so many, and I'm sure Grandpa Walter is not that happy with all the amount of trees that I cut down. But yeah, we needed the money, and also I needed the space. So yeah, sorry, but we'll plant some back at some point. This is our greenhouses still here. The lettuce is just so good right now. I know it's probably OP to put it mildly, but they do make a good amount of money, and they're just speeding up the playthrough a little bit. They don't really fit the build for this, and I will need space eventually as soon as the manure situation is fixed. I want to put in a better manure storage over here, but until that gets fixed from Giants, I'm just kind of stuck with what we are over there. I also probably want to put in a different storage for like our longer stuff, maybe like semi stuff over here. So this will eventually get demolished. In fact, this will probably be the last year of these, and then they'll get moved to another farm at some point. But for now, they're still producing lettuce. This is our barn over here. So our cow production, and that's our manure spreader over there, which is full. I do need to mow the grass, so I'll be putting more manure on there. Yeah, it is getting kind of full. Gets full really quick, as well as the slurry as well. Yeah, we have 115,000 liters of slurry already. That's my slurry spreader over there, which is very expensive. Kind of hate using it, but I have to get rid of the slurry somehow, and transporting it and selling it is a pain in the butt. So I've just decided to use it wherever possible in our fields. At this stage, it is free, but yeah, it's kind of a pain to use. It's a lot easier to just use fertilizer. But yeah, that's our spreader. For cows, we have 252 of 279 for this barn. Half of them are close to half are water buffalo, half are Holstein, and they just kind of split milk and buffalo milk. And yeah, it looks like they're doing fairly well. This guy's not producing milk just yet. Got a couple months to go. These guys were just born, and same with these guys, pretty close. They're still pretty young. This guy now, I guess, is producing milk now, so that's great. Yeah, I think we're fairly good. Oh, I guess I've got some more buffalo milk to take over. And I'm just waiting for this buffalo milk to run out. This will just be a milk facility only. I didn't realize that the dairies were not split manufacturing. They'll only do one at a time, not like the sawmill that is split. It will just do all of these at the same time. This is singular, which is really slow. And I do have to say, if I hadn't already, I'm not so impressed with the dairies. In fact, if I would have known that these produce so slowly, I probably wouldn't have done this for this farm. But we're so far in, and it's not terrible. It's not awful, but it's definitely not the best that I've seen. But yeah, that's where we're at. I don't know what else really to show. There is chickens over here. I don't think there's really much to show over there. They're just two chicken coops, basically, with our chickens, which I don't know if they're, yeah, I think they're full now, I believe. They just had little chicks. So yeah, we're far off from being at full effectiveness for those. Why are there no eggs? That's weird. I think that's a bug. So I'm pretty sure there are eggs over there. If I go look. Yeah, there are eggs there. So that kind of bugs out sometimes from what I've seen. But yeah, well, there you go. There's our chickens over here. And then that's our farm. One of our fields is we're getting drenched. But yeah, that's ready to harvest as soon as the rain stops and the grass is ready to go. So I've got a whole lot of harvesting to do this month as soon as the rain is over. So yeah, might as well fill up our productions while I wait for the rain to stop. But yeah, that's pretty much our farm for the moment. I can't think of really anything else to show. Can we jump over that? Oh, nice. Yeah, we're an athlete. So yeah, that's my 4 years and 200 hours of progress. But yeah, as soon as I'm done this one, once it's complete, then I'll probably make another video and we'll move on to farm number 2. So yeah, thanks for stopping in and take care, and we'll see you in the next one.